Next point is power losses in DC motor. Basically there are two types of losses. First one is the constant loss and another one is the variable loss. Constant loss is constant in all time and variable loss is changes accordingly motor parameters. Now we will see copper loss. Copper loss is also having the three types. First one is the armature copper loss, series field copper loss and shunt field copper loss. So copper loss occur in winding of machine. Whenever a current start flowing through the winding, due to the winding resistance, I square R loss will takes place in the form of heat. I square R loss takes place in the form of heat. Therefore, whenever current flowing through the winding of machine, loss will takes place. This loss is variable because whenever load is changing on motor, this loss is also changing. So copper loss comes under variable loss category. So copper loss is also having three types: armature copper loss, series field copper loss and shunt field copper loss. In case of shunt motor, armature copper loss and shunt field copper loss will take place. In case of series motor, armature copper loss plus series field copper loss will take place. And in case of compound motor, because in compound motor series field winding and shunt field winding both windings are present, therefore both losses will take place in compound motor, that is series field loss and shunt field copper loss will take place in compound motor. Now we will see hysteresis loss. Consider two pole, N pole and S pole. In between two pole, armature is present. This is the armature conductor. Consider this is a conductor A. Conductor A is under running condition. Whenever conductor A is crossing this axis and comes under S pole, due to the retentivity property, it will store magnetic polarity when under N pole. But after some time, when it enters in S pole, we require to eliminate the previous property. So we required corrosive force to cancel out the previous polarities. Therefore, power is wasted in cancel out previous polarity. So therefore, hysteresis loss is measured by using this formula, that is WH is equal to KH Bmax F into V. So therefore KH is nothing but the, write down, KH is the hysteresis coefficient, Bmax is the maximum flux density, F is the frequency of reversal and it is calculated as F is equal to Pn divided by 120, and V is the area of armature. Now firstly we will see corrosive force and retentivity property. Firstly we will see retentivity. Retentivity is the magnetic property, means it will store magnetic polarity in conductor whenever it present under N pole. After some time it comes under S pole, therefore the previous polarities is need to be cancelled out. So therefore we required corrosive force. Corrosive force means this force is required to eliminate the previous polarity. So therefore this polarity is cancelled by using corrosive force. Therefore, the power is vested in cancel out polarities in polarities in conductor. So therefore this loss is called as a hysteresis loss. This loss is depend upon speed, frequency of reversal, flux density. It is depend upon speed, frequency of reversal, magnetic flux density Bmax, and area of armature. So this hysteresis loss is reduced by using silicon steel material, because silicon steel material has low hysteresis coefficient comparison to other metals. Silicon steel material, use the silicon steel material to reduce the hysteresis loss, because silicon steel material having low hysteresis coefficient. Now we will see AD current loss. AD current loss. Consider two pole, N pole and S pole. These two pole produces magnetic flux. When the conductor is start rotating, it will cut the magnetic flux and EMF is induced in that conductor. Therefore, current is start flowing through the conductor. So there is no any alternative path for current flow. Therefore, this current is continuously flow in armature, conductor and core. Due to the I square R loss will takes place, and this loss is called as a AD current loss. After cutting the magnetic flux, EMF induced in that conductor and current is start flowing through the armature conductor. So therefore there is no any alternative path for current flow. Therefore this current is continuously flow in the armature conductor, and I square R loss is takes place in the form of heat. I square R loss takes place in the form of heat. So ED current loss is calculated as, write down the formula, WE is equal to Bmax square F square T square into V. Write down this formula, eddy current loss formula. WE is equal to Bmax square F square T square into V, where F is the frequency of reversal, T is the thickness of lamination, and V is the area of armature. Bmax is the maximum flux density. So this eddy current loss is depend upon frequency of reversal. First, it is depend upon frequency of reversal. Second, it is depend upon thickness of armature. Therefore, to minimize the eddy current loss, the armature conductor is made up of with the lamination. Due to the lamination, it will increase the armature, due to the lamination, resistance is increases, therefore less current is flowing inside armature. So eddy current loss is minimized. Due to the lamination, resistance is increases and current flow inside lamination is less. So I square R loss is less. Now we will see mechanical loss. Mechanical loss having two types. First one is the friction loss and second one is the windage loss. Friction loss is occur in bearing if we are not providing any lubricant material to bearing, therefore due to the friction heat is developed, and this loss is known as a friction loss. Second loss is the windage loss. The windage loss occur in between air gap because friction is takes place between air and armature. So this loss is known as a windage loss. Now next loss is stray loss. Stray loss, the addition of mechanical losses plus core loss or copper loss, core loss or iron loss. This loss is known as a stray loss. Stray loss is the addition of mechanical loss and core loss. So total loss is equal to copper loss plus core loss plus mechanical loss. Here in this case, copper loss is the variable loss. Copper loss is nothing but the I square R loss. The quantity of current is changed according to the loading condition. Therefore, this loss is the variable loss. And core and mechanical loss is constant loss. Next point is power stages of DC motor. First block is electrical input. When we fed electrical input to the DC motor, firstly power comes at armature winding and field winding. When current flowing through the field winding and armature winding, these windings are produces magnetic field. After producing the magnetic field, we know DC motor principle, that is, whenever current carrying conductor placed in the magnetic field, force produced in that conductor, due to the force production, armature is start rotating. Next point is copper losses. Whenever current flowing through the armature winding and field winding, due to the winding resistance, the loss is takes place, that is I square R loss is takes place in the form of heat. In the form of heat, I square R loss is takes place. Now, after overcoming the copper losses, a remaining power is available to the armature, and this power is given by EB into IA. Means in second block, in B block, electrical energy is converted into the mechanical energy, and it is calculated as EB into IA. After, the power is wasted in iron and friction losses. Due to the rotation of armature, iron and friction loss takes place, and after overcoming the iron and friction loss, remaining power is available at shaft of the motor, that is output of motor, and output of motor is the mechanical energy. Consider one example. Consider this motor is 5 kilowatt, that is 5 kilowatt is the electrical input. Now 1 kilowatt, consider 1 kilowatt is the copper loss. After overcoming the copper loss, remaining power available to armature, that is the 5 minus 1, we get 4 kilowatt. So 4 kilowatt electrical energy available to armature. After, consider iron and friction loss, that is 1 kilowatt. After overcoming this iron and friction loss, remaining power available at shaft of the motor, that is 4 minus 1, we get 3 kilowatt output of DC motor, output power of DC motor. Now we will see some formulas, that is, when we subtract electrical input from mechanical input, we get copper loss. that is A minus B, we get copper loss. When we subtract mechanical power developed in armature, that is EB into IA, minus output of DC motor, we get iron and friction loss. Now we will see some formulas of efficiency. First formula is overall efficiency, and it is calculated as output of DC motor, divided by input of DC motor. Second efficiency is electrical efficiency, and it is calculated as B divided by A, that is mechanical power developed in armature, and it is given by EB into IA divided by V into IL, that is the electrical input. V into IL is the electrical input. Now we will see mechanical efficiency, and it is calculated as output of DC motor, divided by mechanical power developed in armature. So these are the some formulas of efficiency and copper loss and iron and friction loss. Now we are going to see next point, necessity of DC motor starter. To start DC motor, we require starter. Without DC motor starter, we cannot start the motor. Therefore, firstly we will see what is the function of starter in DC motor. At the time of starting, speed of the DC motor is 0. Therefore, back EMF is also 0. Now in this case, we can calculate the value of armature current, and it is given by IA is equal to V minus EB divided by RA. So in this case, when we put value of EB is 0, that is formula becomes IA is equal to 230 is the supply voltage divided by armature resistance, and the magnitude of armature resistance is very, very small. Consider 0.5. So we get the value of armature current, and the magnitude of armature current is very, very high. Due to the high armature current, there will be some effect produces on motor. First effect is the burning of armature due to the heavy heating effect, because when armature current increases, I square R losses produces, due to heating effect will produces, and due to excessive heating, burning of armature will takes place. Second effect is damaging of commutator and brush due to the heavy sparking. The heavy sparking is occurred because of the high armature current. Third effect is the excessive voltage drop in the line to which motor is connected. The voltage drop will produces due to the heavy armature current. Now we will see types of DC motor starter. First type is 2-point starter. Second type is 3-point starter, and third type is 4-point starter. Here generally 2-point starter is used to start DC series motor. 3-point starter is used for DC shunt motor, and 4-point starter is used for compound motor, because 3-point starter is having two windings. First one is the armature winding, and another one is the field winding. In case of compound motor, we are having 3 windings: armature winding, shunt field winding, and series field winding. So therefore 4-point starter is used for compound motor, 3-point starter is used for DC shunt motor, and 2-point starter is used for the series motor. Now we are going to see working of 3-point starter. To start the DC motor, firstly switch on the DC supply and move the handle in clockwise direction. Therefore, when we move the handle from off position to position number 1, this is 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and last one is the final position. When handle is at position number 1, the current is start flowing through the starting resistance and it flows to armature circuit of DC motor. And when handle is at position number 1, the field winding is directly connected across the supply. So firstly we will see current path in armature circuit. When handle is at position number 1, the current path will be 1 to 5. That is, it flows to R1, R2, R3, R4, R5 and last position, that is final position, and it comes at armature of DC motor. Now we will see when handle is at second position, the current path will be 2 to 5, then final position and then armature circuit, that is R2, R3, R4, R5 and armature. Now we will see at final position. When handle is at final position, the current flowing through the R5, final position and armature of DC motor. If you look at the path of current flowing through the armature circuit, you can observe that at the time of starting, the resistance, that is starting resistance present in armature circuit is very high and magnitude of armature current is also high. But when handle is at final position, starting magnitude of starting resistance is reduces and magnitude of armature current is also reduces. Now we will see current path in field circuit. The field winding is connected to the NVC coil and one end of the coil is connected to the stud number 1 and another end of the NVC coil is connected to the field winding. So when handle is at position number 1, the current path will be through R1, then it comes at NVC coil and it flows through the field winding. First path is R1, NVC coil and field circuit. Now we will see when handle is at second point, the current path will be R2, R1, NVC coil and field circuit. Now we will see when handle is at final position, what will happen? The current path will be R5, R4, R3, R2, R1, that is from R5 to R1 and NVC coil, and it comes at field winding. So therefore here firstly we will see current path and resistance in armature circuit and field winding. Firstly we will see in armature circuit. In armature circuit, at the time of starting resistance is high, armature current is also high. But when handle is at final position, armature resistance is less, armature current is also less. So this is the resistance and armature current in armature circuit. In case of field winding, at the time of starting, resistance is less, but at final position, high resistance is present in field circuit. Now we will see function of overload coil, overload release coil or NVC coil. So firstly we will see function of NVC coil in 3-point starter. This NVC coil is connected through, there are two ends. First end is connected to the stud number 1. When handle is at position number 1, field winding is directly connected across the supply, and another end of the NVC coil is connected to the field winding. Therefore handle is at position number 1, the current is start flowing through the field winding. Now the function of NVC coil is that the current is start flowing through the NVC coil when handle is at position number 1. Due to the current flow in the NVC coil, this coil is become magnetized and handle is at final position. At that time, attraction between soft iron piece and NVC coil is present, and due to that attraction it will hold handle at final position. So first function of NVC coil is hold the handle at final position, and second function is in case of supply failure, the current flowing through the NVC coil is 0. Current flowing through the NVC coil is 0. So therefore the demagnetization between soft iron piece and coil will be there, and after the handle comes at its original position, that is off position. When supply failure is there, current flowing through the NVC coil is 0, and demagnetization between NVC coil and soft iron piece is present, and due to handle comes at its original position, that is off position. Suppose we consider if NVC coil is not present, then what will happen? At the time of starting, we move the handle from point number 1 to final position, and at the time supply failure is there, so handle remains present at final position. Handle remains present at final position. Consider NVC coil is not present. When handle is at final position, and after some time, that is within a 1 to 2 second, if supply again comes, then what happen? Handle is at final position, and at the time of starting, speed is 0, EB is 0. Now in this case, magnitude of armature current is very high. In case of 230 volt, armature current is 115 ampere, and at that time handle is at final position. Handle is at final position, that is run position, and at run position resistance is less. Okay, once again I am going to repeat. When if suppose NVC coil is not present, what will happen? To start the motor, we move the handle from point number 1 to point number final position, that is final position, and at that time due to supply failure, handle remains present at final position, and within a 2 minutes supply again come. Due to the absent of NVC coil, handle is at final position. Okay, due to the final position, when handle is at final position, what will happen? At the time of starting, magnitude of armature current is high because N is 0 and EB is 0, and at final position starting resistance is less. So therefore there is no opposition to the armature current, and motor will again burn here due to the absent of NVC coil. So this is the function of NVC coil in 3-point starter. Now we will see function of overload release coil. or it also called as a OLR. Suppose due to the fault the magnitude of current is higher and it flows through positive terminal of DC supply, L terminal, and after it comes at overload release coil. Due to the overcurrent, this triangular iron piece and lever attracted towards upward direction to this point. When fault is occur, at that time magnitude of current is high. This high magnitude current flowing through the overload release coil, and due to this plunger or this lever attracted in upward direction, and this triangular iron piece is touched to these 2 points. Then what will happen? The short circuit will be there, and due to short circuit, demagnetization between, at that time handle is at final position. Consider motor is under running condition, handle is at final position. When high magnitude or fault current flowing through the DC motor, what will happen? Current is at first overload release coil, and this lever moves in the upward direction. So the triangular iron piece touches to these 2 points, and this 2 point is connected to the NVC coil. When NVC coil is demagnetized, so therefore handle is demagnetized. After demagnetization in NVC coil, there is a zero attraction between soft iron piece and NVC coil, and handle comes at original position, that is off position. Means at the time of fault condition or at the time of higher current flowing through the DC motor, the motor is automatically disconnected from the supply with the help of the overload release coil. Now there is one more advantage of NVC coil which I want to tell you, that if suppose accidentally field winding is open, due to the open of field winding, first effect is field current is 0 and flux is 0. If you look at here, field winding is directly connected to the NVC coil, therefore current flowing through the NVC coil is 0. Under running condition, handle of starter is at final position and there is attraction between soft iron piece and NVC coil. But due to the field winding is open, current flowing through the NVC coil is also 0. So there is no attraction between NVC coil and soft iron piece. So therefore NVC coil does not hold soft iron piece and handle is come at its original position and motor is automatically disconnected from the supply. We know the relation between speed and flux. In case of flux is 0, speed reach to infinite and it will break foundation and motor may be damaged. To avoid such situation, NVC coil must be present in 3-point starter. Now we have seen function of no hold release coil and overload release coil. Now we are going to see disadvantage of 3-point starter. Disadvantage of 3-point starter. As we have studied in constructional detail of 3-point starter, field winding is connected. Firstly, it connected to the NVC coil and another end of the NVC coil connected to the stud number 1. When motor is running condition, at that time handle is at final position and at final position resistance is high. Okay, at final position resistance present in field circuit is high. Therefore, while performing the speed control exercise, we need to add external resistance in the field circuit. Therefore, total resistance present in field circuit is high. Once again I am repeating, when handle is at final position, resistance present in the field circuit is high. While performing the speed control exercise, we can add external resistance in field circuit. So therefore total resistance is very high. Due to the high resistance, current flowing through the field winding is less. Current flowing through the field winding is less. So this current is also present in the NVC coil. Due to the less magnitude of current present in the field winding, there is a chance of demagnetization between soft iron piece. There is a chance of demagnetization between soft iron piece and NVC coil, because due to the less current, there is no attraction between or less attraction between NVC coil and soft iron piece is there. So therefore there may be chance of motor is disconnected from the supply and handle comes at a rest position or off position. So this is the disadvantage of the 3-point starter. Now we are going to see 4-point starter. 4-point starter is used for the compound motor. Compound motor is having 4 terminals: line terminal, armature terminal, series field terminal and shunt field terminal. Here this is the NVC coil. This is the NVC coil. NVC coil is directly connected DC supply through the resistance and it is independent of field winding. If you look at here, field winding connection is independent of NVC coil. In case of 3-point starter, NVC coil is connected to the field winding, but in case of 4-point starter, NVC coil and field winding connection is independent. Only difference between 3-point starter and 4-point starter is connection of NVC coil, but the working of both starter is same. Here we can observe the difference between 3-point starter and 4-point starter. So this is the 3-point starter and this is 4-point starter. Here NVC coil is directly connected to the field winding, but in case of 4-point starter, NVC coil is connected to DC supply through the protective resistance. Here in 3-point starter, overload release coil is present. In case of 4-point starter, overload release coil is absent. So these are the differences between 3-point starter and 4-point starter.